You may believe that eating fruit is always healthy, that every natural bite brings nothing but benefits to your body. But as a brain doctor who has spent decades treating stroke patients, I am here to tell you the truth that most people never hear. There is one very common fruit found in nearly every kitchen and sold in every market that can actually raise your risk of a stroke overnight. I have seen patients who did everything right, who exercised daily, avoided smoking, and kept their blood pressure under control. Yet they ended up in the emergency room with sudden paralysis, slurred speech, or vision loss. When we traced their habits, one food kept appearing on their plate. This is not about fear. It is about awareness. Stroke is not always caused by obvious triggers like smoking or high cholesterol. Sometimes the danger comes from something you thought was perfectly safe. This particular fruit interacts with your blood, your circulation, and even your medications in ways that most seniors never realize. The result can be sudden spikes in blood pressure, clot formation, or bleeding inside the brain. What frightens me most is that many seniors eat this fruit at breakfast every single day, believing they are helping their heart or digestion, when in reality, they may be pushing themselves closer to a devastating event. In this video, I will reveal which fruit it is, why it is so dangerous for older adults, and what safer alternatives you should choose instead. Because protecting your brain is not about eating everything that looks natural. It is about eating wisely. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Part 1. Why stroke can happen overnight. Most people think stroke is something that builds up slowly over years, that you only need to worry if you have spent a lifetime smoking, eating poorly, or ignoring your health. But the truth is far more frightening. Stroke can strike suddenly, even overnight. And often the trigger is something so ordinary that most seniors never suspect it. In fact, I have treated patients who went to bed feeling perfectly fine, only to wake up unable to move one side of their body, unable to speak clearly, or unable to recognize their loved ones. What changed in those few hours? The answer lies in how fragile the brain's blood supply is, especially as we age. The brain is an organ that cannot store oxygen or nutrients. It depends on a constant, steady flow of blood every single second. If that flow is blocked, even for a few minutes, brain cells begin to die. That is why doctors call stroke a medical emergency where every minute counts. For younger people, the blood vessels are more flexible, and the body can sometimes compensate for small changes. But in seniors, the blood vessels are stiffer, narrower, and more vulnerable. A small clot, a sudden spike in blood pressure, or even a reaction to something you ate can push the system past its limit. And once the brain is deprived, the damage starts immediately. What many people do not realize is that certain foods, even ones considered healthy, can influence this delicate system. They can thin the blood too much, raise blood pressure too quickly, or interact with medications in ways that make clotting or bleeding far more likely. That is why stroke can seem to come out of nowhere. In reality, it is the result of an invisible chain reaction inside the vessels of the brain. For example, seniors often eat fruit thinking it is always safe. And while fruit is generally beneficial, Some contain compounds that affect enzymes in the liver or alter the way blood vessels react. In a younger body, this may not cause much harm, but in an older body, especially one already on medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or the heart, the consequences can be devastating. A fruit you thought was refreshing at breakfast can set off a chemical cascade that raises your stroke risk by the time you go to bed. This is why awareness matters. Stroke is not just about genetics or fate. It is about understanding the triggers that can tip your fragile circulation into crisis. And as we continue, I will show you exactly which common fruit carries this hidden danger, how it interacts with your body, and why seniors must be especially careful. If this part shocked you, wait until you hear the truth about the fruit itself. Part 2. The hidden danger of this common fruit. The fruit I am talking about is grapefruit. Bright, colorful, and refreshing. Grapefruit has been praised for decades as a health food. Many seniors start their mornings with a glass of grapefruit juice or half a grapefruit, believing they are doing something good for their heart, their weight, or their digestion. But as a brain doctor, I need you to know that grapefruit can be one of the most dangerous foods for older adults, especially when it comes to stroke risk. The danger lies in a group of natural compounds inside grapefruit called furanocoumarins. These chemicals interfere with enzymes in the liver that are responsible for breaking down medications. For seniors, this is critical. Most older adults take daily prescriptions, often for high blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart rhythm problems. When grapefruit blocks the enzyme that normally processes these drugs, the medication levels in your blood can rise to toxic levels. What seems like a healthy breakfast can quietly turn your medicine into poison. I have seen patients on statins for cholesterol who developed muscle weakness and confusion after eating grapefruit daily. I have seen people on blood pressure medication who suffered dangerous drops in pressure, leaving them dizzy and at risk of falls. And most frightening of all, I have seen seniors on blood thinners whose risk of brain hemorrhage skyrocketed because grapefruit raised the concentration of the drug in their system. One patient came in with sudden vision loss and slurred speech after only a few weeks of eating grapefruit in the morning. The scans revealed bleeding in her brain triggered by the interaction between her medication and her diet. But it is not only about drug interactions. Grapefruit itself can influence circulation. It may cause blood vessels to react differently, raising or lowering blood pressure unpredictably. For an elderly person whose vessels are already stiff and fragile, this instability can make the perfect storm for stroke. Add in the fact that grapefruit can alter blood sugar levels and even trigger heart rhythm changes in sensitive individuals. And you can see why this fruit deserves far more caution than it receives. The most tragic part is that most seniors are never warned. They see grapefruit advertised as part of a heart-healthy diet. They read that it helps with weight loss. They trust that something so natural cannot be harmful. But in reality, for many older adults, grapefruit is not just risky, it can be deadly. That is why I am begging you to be aware. If you or someone you love eats grapefruit while taking daily medications, stop and talk to your doctor immediately. You may be wondering, how exactly do these interactions happen? And why do they matter so much for seniors? In particular, the answer lies in the delicate balance between food, medicine, and the brain's blood supply. And in the next part, we will explore how grapefruit interacts directly with the medications that seniors depend on, and why this makes the risk of stroke even higher. Part 3. how this fruit interacts with senior medications. To truly understand why grapefruit is so dangerous for seniors, you need to know how it interacts with the very medications that many older adults depend on every single day. Most seniors take more than one prescription drug, often for conditions like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or even diabetes. Each of these medicines must be carefully balanced in the body. Too little, and they do not work. Too much, and they become toxic. Grapefruit disrupts that balance in a way that is both silent and powerful. The key lies in the liver. Normally, the liver uses special enzymes, most importantly one called CYP3A4, to break down drugs and control how much of them enter the bloodstream. Grapefruit blocks this enzyme. The result is that medications, which should be metabolized slowly, instead stay in the body at dangerously high levels. Imagine turning up the dose of your medicine without even knowing it. That is what grapefruit does. Let us take cholesterol drugs as the first example. Statins like simvastatin and atorvastatin are widely prescribed to seniors. Grapefruit can raise the concentration of these drugs several times higher than normal, leading to muscle breakdown, kidney damage, and even brain fog. Next, consider blood pressure medications like calcium channel blockers. Grapefruit can amplify their effects, causing blood pressure to plummet, which in turn cuts off steady blood flow to the brain. For someone already vulnerable, that sudden drop can trigger a stroke. Blood thinners are another area of major concern. Drugs like warfarin, apixaban, or rivaroxaban are designed to prevent clots. But grapefruit can intensify their effect, making blood too thin. The result can be internal bleeding, including hemorrhagic stroke, where blood vessels burst inside the brain. I have seen patients who came in with severe headaches, confusion, or vision loss after their blood became dangerously unstable from this hidden interaction. Even heart rhythm medications, such as amiodarone or certain antiarrhythmics, are affected. Grapefruit can cause the drugs to build up, leading to irregular heartbeats, fainting, or cardiac arrest. And when the heart is unstable, clots form more easily and travel to the brain, causing ischemic stroke. What is terrifying is that many seniors take combinations of these drugs. One grapefruit or one glass of grapefruit juice can push their system into chaos. The worst part is that these reactions do not happen with warning. You will not feel pain in your liver. You will not sense the medication levels rising. Instead, you may suddenly feel dizzy, lose your balance, have blurred vision, or collapse. By the time you realize something is wrong, the stroke may already be underway. That is why knowledge is power. If you know grapefruit can interact with your medicine, you can avoid it and protect yourself. So what can we learn from this? That food and medicine are not separate. They work together inside your body, sometimes in harmony and sometimes in conflict. Grapefruit is the perfect example of how something natural can quietly undo the very treatments designed to keep you alive. In the next part, I will share real stories from patients who experience this firsthand. Stories that will show you exactly how devastating these interactions can be, and why awareness can be the difference between life and death. Part 4. Real cases from the clinic. Over the years, I have treated countless patients with stroke, and one of the most sobering lessons I have learned is that danger does not always come from obvious choices like smoking or fast food. Sometimes it comes from something as simple and innocent as a piece of fruit on the breakfast table. Let me share with you some real cases that highlight how grapefruit, this seemingly harmless fruit, can tip the balance toward disaster. One case that I will never forget was a 72-year-old woman who came into the emergency room with sudden slurred speech and weakness on the right side of her body. Her family was shocked because she had been so careful with her health. She walked daily, took her medications exactly as prescribed, and never smoked. But when I reviewed her diet, I discovered she drank a glass of grapefruit juice every morning with her pills. The combination had caused her blood pressure medication to accumulate in her bloodstream, leading to a sudden drop in pressure and reduced blood flow to her brain. The CT scan confirmed an ischemic stroke. She survived, but her ability to speak clearly never fully returned. Another patient, a 69-year-old man, was taking warfarin to prevent clots after a heart condition. He believed grapefruit was healthy and ate half a grapefruit almost every morning. One day he arrived at the hospital complaining of a severe headache and blurred vision. A brain scan showed bleeding inside his skull. The grapefruit had amplified the effects of his blood thinner, turning protection against clots into a dangerous risk of hemorrhage. That simple dietary habit nearly cost him his life. Then there was an elderly woman in her late 70s who complained of muscle pain and fatigue. Her doctor thought it was simply aging or arthritis. But the truth was much darker. She was on cholesterol-lowering statins and enjoyed grapefruit regularly. The buildup of the drug in her body caused muscle breakdown and eventually led to kidney strain. This weakened her overall health and increased her risk for both heart attack and stroke. She admitted she never knew grapefruit could interact with her medicine. No one had ever warned her. These are not rare cases. They are common, repeated patterns that I see far too often. Seniors, especially women, are encouraged to eat fruit for their health. Yet no one explains that grapefruit is different, that it carries unique risks when combined with the very medication seniors rely on to live. The tragedy is that these strokes and complications were preventable. All it would have taken was awareness and a small change in diet. When you hear these stories, you might think the solution is simply to avoid grapefruit. And while that is true, the lesson goes deeper. Grapefruit is not the only fruit that can cause trouble. There are others that, in excess or in the wrong form, can also raise stroke risk in older adults. In the next part, we will uncover these other hidden threats so you can protect yourself and your loved ones even further. Part 5. Other fruits that raise stroke risk. While grapefruit is the most well-known fruit that poses serious dangers for seniors, it is not the only one. Other fruits, often seen as perfectly healthy, it can also raise the risk of stroke when eaten in the wrong way, in excess, or at the wrong time. As a brain doctor, I have seen many older adults surprised to learn that their favorite fruit snack may quietly contribute to vascular damage, unstable blood pressure, or dangerous spikes in blood sugar. Let us look closely at some of these hidden threats. First, let us talk about overripe bananas. Bananas are considered an easy and gentle fruit for seniors, soft to chew and quick to digest. But when they become overripe, their sugar content rises dramatically. Instead of giving you steady energy, they flood the bloodstream with glucose. For older adults whose insulin response is weaker, this leads to sudden spikes in blood sugar, followed by sharp crashes. Over time, this cycle inflames blood vessels, damages the fragile capillaries in the brain, and raises the risk of ischemic stroke. Excess potassium in very ripe bananas can also disrupt heart rhythm, causing dizziness, weakness, or sudden collapse. Second, cherries in excess can also be risky. Many people enjoy them in summer, praising their antioxidants. But in large amounts, the concentrated natural sugars in cherries overwhelm the system. For seniors with reduced insulin sensitivity, this means higher blood sugar, slower healing of blood vessels, and increased pressure on the circulatory system. In my clinic, I have seen patients who indulged in cherries daily and later developed neuropathy and circulation problems that left them unsteady on their feet, vulnerable to both falls and stroke. Third, dried fruits like raisins, figs, or dates can quietly sabotage vascular health. They are often marketed as natural and healthy snacks, but they are extremely dense in sugar. A small handful may equal the sugar load of several fresh fruits combined. For elderly people already managing diabetes or hypertension, dried fruits can push blood pressure higher, raise triglycerides, and accelerate arterial damage. I once treated a woman who loved raisins in her cereal every morning. She believed it was wholesome, but her blood sugar swings became so unstable that she experienced repeated transient ischemic attacks. Fourth, pineapple deserves caution. While fresh and tropical, it contains both high sugar and strong acids. In seniors, this combination often worsens joint pain, triggers inflammation, and causes spikes in blood sugar. I remember a patient who complained of worsening arthritis and dizziness. It turned out she had been eating pineapple daily, thinking it was strengthening her immunity. In reality, the fruit was fueling inflammation that stressed her brain and circulation. These examples show that fruit is not always harmless. The truth is, even natural foods can turn into hidden threats when bodies are more vulnerable with age. But this is not a call to fear fruit. It is a call to choose wisely. Because just as some fruits raise stroke risk, others can help protect your brain and strengthen your circulation. And in the next part, I will share with you the fruits that truly support senior health and should be part of your daily plate. Part 6. Safer alternatives seniors should eat. Now that we have looked at the fruits that can quietly raise your stroke risk, let us turn to the ones that actually protect your brain, your heart, and your circulation. Not all fruits are dangerous. In fact, many provide the exact nutrients seniors need to keep blood vessels strong, prevent clots, and reduce inflammation. The key is knowing which fruits to choose and how to prepare them in ways that support your body instead of stressing it. One of the best fruits for brain and vascular health is blueberries. Small, sweet, and packed with anthocyanins. Blueberries are powerful antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress in the arteries. They protect delicate blood vessels in the brain from damage and improve circulation to the legs and eyes. Several studies have shown that seniors who eat a handful of blueberries daily perform better on memory tests and have a lower risk of stroke. I often recommend them as a simple snack or to sprinkle on oatmeal in the morning. Another excellent choice is apples, especially eaten with the skin. Apples are rich in soluble fiber that stabilizes blood sugar and helps lower cholesterol. The flavonoids in the skin directly protect the lining of blood vessels, reducing inflammation and supporting healthy circulation. Seniors who add apples to their diet often notice steadier energy and improved digestion. I remember one patient, a 75-year-old woman, who switched from dried fruit to apples. Within weeks, her blood sugar stabilized and her balance improved noticeably. Pomegranates are another fruit with remarkable protective effects. Their ruby red seeds are full of polyphenols, natural compounds that relax blood vessels, improve circulation, and fight inflammation. For elderly women, pomegranates can be especially valuable, supporting both brain function and heart health. One study showed that pomegranate juice helped improve blood flow to the brain, reducing the risk of silent strokes that often go unnoticed until they cause memory decline. Avocados, though technically a fruit, are also one of the best foods for seniors. They provide healthy monounsaturated fats that nourish the brain and lubricate joints. They are rich in potassium and magnesium, minerals that keep blood pressure stable and reduce the risk of dangerous spikes. For those who struggle with cholesterol, avocados can help raise good HDL cholesterol while lowering bad LDL cholesterol, giving the cardiovascular system much-needed balance. Finally, ripe tomatoes, another often overlooked fruit, are rich in lycopene. This antioxidant not only reduces oxidative stress in the arteries, but also lowers the risk of clot formation. Seniors who include tomatoes in their diet often benefit from sharper vision, stronger circulation, and lower stroke risk. The beauty of these fruits is that they are accessible, affordable, and easy to include in daily meals. They do not require exotic preparation, just a bowl of blueberries, a crisp apple, a fresh tomato salad, or a slice of avocado on toast can quietly build resilience into your body. While dangerous fruits push the body toward imbalance, these safe alternatives restore harmony and strength. But fruits alone are not enough. Even the healthiest foods can only do so much if daily habits are working against you. That is why in the next part, I will share the everyday routines and lifestyle choices that can truly protect your brain from stroke and help you maintain independence well into your golden years. Part 7. Daily habits that protect your brain from stroke. Fruits can either help or harm, but your daily habits are just as powerful in shaping your stroke risk. As a brain doctor, I tell my patients that what they do every single day matters more than any single meal. The truth is, small choices accumulate, and those habits either strengthen your blood vessels and brain or quietly wear them down until a stroke strikes without warning. Let us look at the daily routines that truly protect seniors and allow them to stay independent and sharp well into their later years. First, managing blood pressure must become a priority. High blood pressure is the single greatest risk factor for stroke. It weakens artery walls, makes them more likely to burst, and increases the chance of clot formation. Seniors should monitor their blood pressure regularly, follow medical advice, and make lifestyle adjustments, such as reducing salt, avoiding processed foods, and staying hydrated. Even something as simple as checking your numbers weekly at home can catch silent danger before it turns into tragedy. Second, movement is medicine. The brain depends on steady circulation, and that circulation is powered by your muscles and heart. Daily physical activity, even just a brisk 15 to 20 minute walk, lowers blood pressure, improves cholesterol, and strengthens arteries. Many elderly patients believe exercise must be strenuous, but the truth is, consistent gentle movement provides the greatest protection. I remember a 76-year-old woman who began walking every evening with her neighbor. Within months, her blood pressure stabilized and her risk of stroke decreased dramatically. Third, sleep must not be overlooked. Poor sleep, especially untreated sleep apnea, raises blood pressure, strains the heart, and deprives the brain of oxygen. Seniors who snore loudly, wake frequently at night, or feel exhausted during the day should be evaluated for sleep apnea. Using a CPAP device when prescribed can dramatically lower stroke risk. Deep, restful sleep is not a luxury. It is one of the body's most powerful tools for repair and protection. Fourth, stress management is essential. Constant stress keeps cortisol levels high, inflames the blood vessels, and pushes the body toward hypertension. Simple practices like deep breathing, meditation, prayer, or even gardening can lower stress and restore calm. I often teach my patients the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. This small daily practice lowers blood pressure, improves oxygen delivery to the brain, and calms the nervous system. Fifth, avoiding tobacco and limiting alcohol cannot be emphasized enough. Smoking damages arteries directly, while heavy drinking raises blood pressure and weakens the liver's ability to process medication safely. Seniors who quit smoking and reduce alcohol intake cut their stroke risk significantly, no matter how late in life they make the change. Finally, awareness and quick action save lives. Knowing the fast tests: face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, time to call emergency, empowers families to act immediately. Too many lives are lost because people wait to see if symptoms will pass. Every minute counts when blood flow to the brain is cut off. Calling emergency services without delay can mean the difference between walking out of the hospital or being permanently disabled. These habits may seem simple, but they are powerful shields against stroke. Combined with the right food choices, they create a foundation of resilience. And now, in the final words, I will tie these lessons together and show you why your daily decisions still matter, no matter your age. Doctor's final words. After decades of treating patients, I can tell you one truth with absolute certainty. Stroke does not strike out of nowhere. It builds silently, piece by piece, through the foods we eat, the habits we repeat, and the warning signs we ignore. Grapefruit and other seemingly innocent fruits may look harmless, but in the wrong body, at the wrong time, they can tip the scale toward disaster. Overripe bananas, excessive carries, dried fruits, or pineapple might quietly inflame your vessels and push your circulation to its limits. Yet the good news is that just as danger accumulates, so does protection. Every apple you eat with the skin, every handful of blueberries, every ripe tomato, avocado, or pomegranate is a small but powerful act of defense for your brain. And beyond diet, the way you live matters. Walking daily, breathing deeply, sleeping well, managing blood pressure, and calling for help at the first sign of trouble can prevent tragedy and preserve your independence. Your body, even in later years, still remembers how to heal. It responds to care. It responds to consistency. It responds to love, both from others and from yourself. Do not wait for a crisis to teach you the value of prevention. Choose wisely now, and give yourself the gift of clearer days, steadier steps, and more time with the people you love. Share this knowledge with your friends and family, because awareness saves lives. Now, I would love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you have learned today and plan to apply in your own life. Let us support each other on this journey toward better health. If you enjoyed this message, comment 1. If not, comment 0. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip made just for you.